That was certainly short-lived skip, wasn't it?
It sounded pretty neat, though.
Break OTR.
Hello, break OTR, over.
Sounding good on this side.
Yeah, I'll get you checked in. You can probably actually hear me tonight, huh?
Yeah, you're moving my needle.
Well, you know me.
Yeah, well, this is the Move Your Needle frequency. Glad to oblige, and we will get 61 checked in. Thanks.
Thanks, Dennis.
I'll get connected to the other items, and we'll get going.
How about your rainmakers you out here? Hey, good evening there, Mr. Rogers. Evening there, Mr. Belair. How you doing tonight? I'm doing fine, Mr. Rogers. Doing fine. How about yourself? Same old, same old. What time dough tube check in? About 8 o'clock. It should be coming up pretty soon. Hey, 10-4. I'll step back to stand back for a while. 10-4. Okay, we'll catch you later there, Mr. Rogers. Good hearing you there, brother. Yeah, cluck, 73. 10-4.
Yeah, in fact, I think now is probably a good time to start OTR.
OTR. 27 megahertz. The O2 Radio Network.
Wow.
Overdriven. You can hear me right now. I'm out here on the west side.
Yeah, I don't know where they came in. They came in so loud there. I guess they're very enthused about the O2 Radio Network tonight. They had some meters pegged around here.
Right there, 99, making a whole lot of noise, my brother.
All right, speaking of looking and pegging meters, I think that's a lot better. The old Tube Radio Network, real radio's glowing in the dark. Back with the proper amount of RF output, I think tonight, so I have high hopes that will stay the proper way. I've already had one check-in that could actually hear me moving the needle, and we will see what happens. My name is Dennis, Net Controller for this evening on your old Tube Radio Network. 27085 is the frequency. Channel 11. And oldtuberadio.net is some audio streaming, and then there's a link to some audio and video streaming as well. If you're a Tube Radio operator, welcome, and we will be checking in with you after the roll call on your radio of choice. If you are listening from near or far, we will be checking in the shortwave listeners, and of course, you don't have to be on any list to come on in and say hello, and we will say hello right back. So, with that said, let's go to the shortwave listener list at the top of the page. I will get 147. Neil checked in. And before we go on, I want to find out if there's any other stations that need an early check-in. We've got SWL 61.
55.
And up on the hill, we've got 55. I've got you checked in, M&M, thanks. Who else needed to check in, early check-in, over? Let's see, 14700 is in, and also on the Universal Media NetWeb. We've got a couple early check-ins there, so I'll make sure they get checked in. And there might be someone there, but there is no audio. Brown Dog Audio, SWL 57, has to work early, so he's asked for an early check-in from Central Kentucky, which I will do. So let me get the right item up on here, and we will continue on.
Let me try now. 24.
Hey, okay, there it is. I hear you now, Joseph. I got you checked in over. I got you checked in over.
Thanks, sir.
Okay, trying to get my transmitter button ready to go. So 00 is in. SWL number 1 is in. SWL number 2, Mr. OBP, who is out there saying hello radio on the video chat. So come on by the video and say hello to Kevin. Thank you for the update on the propagation. Well, obviously, as you heard, we had nothing. And then we had a lot of something for about an hour, and now nothing, although I have a feeling when the gray line passes over Hawaii, we might hear something. Will we hear the north-south skip? I didn't hear that much last night on the Ditch Banks sideband net, but you got to stay tuned. You never know. SWL3, I've got a proxy check-in for Rob. And Mr. Rainmaker, Levon, SWL5, from his appearance moments ago over at Old Radio Night, which I think might be going on. We'll check in with the JT and the gang here shortly. Let's go to SWL7.
SWL7, checking in.
All right, sounding good. I can tell that I need to save some space for you on the Tube Radio check-in list, and I will do that. Sounding good.
Thank you.
And let's see, we have, 23 Skidoo is requesting a reverse checkout and an inverse check-in. So I think when the two meet somewhere, you actually do get a check-in for your number. So I'll get and I don't put an X. I think when we do a reverse inverse check-in, you put a Y in the square. So we've got a Y for sure. We've got a Y in the square for SWL 23. Let's head over to Shortwave listener number 10. And I think I saw the Jumping Dolphins.
Ed, tell him.
What was that?
Hey, Dennis, don't key up. Check your setup. You just lost power and mushed up.
Uh-oh. All right. This is the you've lost power and mushed up frequency. You know what? It looks pretty good on the REA, but that means nothing, right?
That was good.
Well, hopefully it wasn't my receiver, but, yeah. Did anybody else hear that?
Time to get out the hammer, Harvey. Over.
Oh, great. No one else heard that. Okay, then I better shut up.
All right, but not for long. All right, I see Chrissy, 10 and 30 checking in. When the Dolphins are out there jumping, you know it is time for a check-in. Let's go to SWL 11 and SWL 12. Of course, Dan, Mr. Cornbread and Dapper Dan here on your old tube radio network. SWL 13, Mr. Cobra, and I should mention that I do check the Facebook site for check-ins, and I guess you can do it by email. You can go to oldtuberadio.net like many of you have, and checking in there. And we'll eventually and occasionally go over that way and see who is listening in. Let's go down, and I think you would hear me tonight if you're out there, Sean, SWL 14. I thought I'd heard Sangertown during our skip event about an hour ago, but nothing now. And let's see, listening in from Copenhagen, perhaps, Alpha 173 Hans. I'm going to give you a check-in. It is probably still early there. Maybe things are not quite warmed up. Who is listening? We got Fresno. Van Man's coming in from Kentucky. You're up in the balcony tonight. Yellow Springs, Ohio. Dallas, Georgia, coming up to you. Let's see, Fresno, California. Plymouth in Minnesota. Centerville, Virginia. Sylvania, Ohio, coming up to you. There you are. There's Hans is listening in. He's up in the front row tonight. And Belfast, Maine, right here, ready with the cue cards tonight. Also seeing Radio Randy is in early tonight. You must have place to go tonight, Randy. You're checking in early, and you're all dressed up. So must have an event. I'm going to get you checked in right now. SWL 99. Maybe you're just tweaking the audio. You're just adding a little bit of extra fire to the wire. So 15 is in. Good morning. I should say good morning to you indeed. SWL 16. Charlie is here, and yeah, you guys did good. We've got the RF back. We changed the jumpers. It turned out the tuner was bad. Yeah, the tuna. My automatic tuna, or non-automatic tuna was bad, so we hauled that out, replaced that, juggled some wires, and everything is good. So our team of experts here at the Old Tube Radio Network comes through again. Thanks, Charlie. Let's go to SWL 17. I know, who would have thunk? Who would have thunk that a tuner could cause all that havoc? And it's been sitting here forever. Maybe that's why. Maybe I should just do a revamp every now and then. Nothing should be sitting on the table for more than 6 months before it gets thrown away and something new. Let's go to SWL 18. Mr. KDA, I've got you checked in from the Facebook page with the cue cards tonight, and looking good. I see you've got a new marker. Everything is nice and bold, and you even have the red marker lined up when I should be directing my attention elsewhere. So if I make a mistake tonight, it's only because I cannot follow directions. Thank you, Chet, out there in Derby, New York, by way of Belfast, Maine, by way of somewhere. He always manages to get here. Let's go to SWL 20. Well, he was just there. He said he was going to go away, so maybe his receive is doing something bad. If you hear me, Harvey, at some point you are checked in.
Did you call me?
Yes, and you are checked in, over.
Yeah, that was somebody else. Okay, I'm here. Just fine now. I don't know what I heard, but when I asked if anybody heard you mess up, nobody said anything. No one said, no, you didn't. So I just wondered about that, too. Okay, I'm transmitting. Thank you.
Okay, no, you are sounding good, so not exactly sure what happened there, but I looked at the REA meter, and I have some other things that I've checked, but I think tonight I'm pretty confident that I may have chased out the strange problem. Let's go over to SWL 21 ORN, and we'll jump in.
Believe it or not, I contacted the graphics guy and asked him if he could make me a
I don't know why it's doing that.
Faceplate decal for that radio, because
okay, there's something that was working perfectly moments ago.
Send me a faceplate,
and now is
I'll make one. Okay.
Working less than stellar. Look at that. It's the is that tonight's radio with the Pierre Simpson Guardian?
I didn't do it, and then some guy was on
looks pretty good.
Facebook saying how
sounding good, and I didn't I did tell you this, Mr. JT, but we actually heard you on channel 12 tonight.
He did, so now I don't have to
very low in the background, but we actually did hear your station coming through, but I could not get back to you. So we will get SWL 21 checked in. SWL 22. SWL 23 checked in, unchecked in, checked in over here, checked in over there, and with a Y in the square. SWL 24 with an early check-in. SWL 25, going to get Jerry checked in because I think he is out with the band performing tonight. Let's go to shortwave listener 27. And then heading up the road a piece, see if Gary is listening in somewhere near Sacramento tonight. Got some noisy vehicles out here. He is listening in, 28's checking in. Something smells good in the green room. They're doing something. It was great barbecue weather today. It wasn't like a mid-80s. It is cool right now, so people are out and about, and maybe they saw me dressed earlier, and that's why they're doing the hobo stew. It sounds good, and join us out there when you can, if you can. Got a proxy check-in for SWL 29. Keep on my list up to date. And who is out there? Hello, Eric. Eric D is listening in the CB Lounge 2112. Listening in tonight. Sounding good. Were I to actually keep my foot switch, my king of the transmitter. So, all right. Van Man's got company tonight. Said we got you turned down low. I've got you checked in, Van Man. So if you can run in and out, we'll see you there. Radio Randy. Stand by, Randy. There is no skip right now. The Hawaii went away, but maybe a little bit later we'll have. You know what? You have prompted me to possibly go over to the DX map, and let me bring that up and see what's happening on the DX map. It looks pretty blank. It looks pretty nothing. There is nothing. There is a lot of nothing there on the DX map, and I don't know what that is, but yeah, there is. Am I even on the right one? Wow, totally shut down. So we'll have to see if we get some of the short E skip coming in. Oh, let's see. Somebody else was in there. I want to say hello, Radio 2. It was GWD Labs checking in. Hello, Radio. I think we have got everything up and running on the video side here. Looks like all the wiggle meters are correct, and hopefully there is audio going to where it needs to go. SWL 30, Dwayne is in. Hello to SWL 31. SWL 32. SWL 33, myself, the gang here, and of course, Bozo Control and affiliated items of interest. SWL 34. You know, I didn't run the Facebook tonight to see what Jimmy was up to, but I'm sure he is around. And he was doing. Oh, he's right there. SWL 34. Railroader 546 checking in, sounding good out there. Thanks for stopping by. And I'm still looking for somebody absconded with the train whistle. It was always right here on the radio desk. So perhaps it has become a cat toy, but I will see if I can't find that, because it just doesn't seem right. Checking in SWL 34 without some type of acknowledgement of a little railroading item of interest. Hans mentioning the 10-meter skip was good in his location yesterday. Yes, it was. Yeah, I tuned in and I could hear the FT8 signals. I could hear a beacon. You know, the beacon's coming through, just not super loud. You got to be in there. You got to be in the right spot. at the right time. Jimmy's in. How about Mr. Bill, SWL 35 out there, Red Monkey Communications? Don't see him on my screen yet. I will get Mr. Bill proxied in. He will probably be stopping by soon. SWL 36. Shortwave listener 37.
37 here, Dennis. Good evening.
And good evening to you. Hope things are going good over in that part of town, and we have got you marked in. Over.
Oh, it is, and thank you.
Okay, over to SWL 38. Sam, you're on your own tonight. There is nobody to help us out. I don't hear Dwayne. I don't hear the mini grass. So it's going to be brute force from Byron tonight to get in.
Break channel.
And the break channel, go ahead, over.
Hey, Dennis, I have a question for you. This is 777 Jimmy. How do I get a number?
For the shortwave listener list, it shouldn't be too hard. Let me see, since you're here, let me see if I've got something available, since we are in week 4. If you're playing the home game out there, that looks something like this. Okay, page 4. You know what? I can do this. I've got SWL 93. So we'll get the 777 in 93, and I'll be calling you shortly.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Hey, just out of curiosity, what are you all doing?
All right, and back to the roll call. And someone asked what we are all doing. This is the Old Tube Radio Network. What this is a gathering of stations, either on the air here locally with their radios, some of which are the classic tube-style radios from the late 1950s, all throughout the 60s and 1970s. And as you might know, there are car shows where people get together and they bring their vintage cars. Think of this as a radio show, if you will, where people get together to bring their classic vintage tube radios, and you will be hearing some of those coming up tonight after our roll call. If you are internet active with your Universal Media Net Web, you can go to www.oldtuberadio.net, where you can hear an audio stream of this very thing that you're listening to now, and it will have a link to go to a video where you can possibly see the likeness says of some of those radios that we'll be checking in a little bit later. My name is Dennis, and believe it or not, we have been doing this very thing I just described on this very frequency, which we are both on since the mid-1980s. So welcome aboard, happy listening, and we're off with the roll call. All right, that's the 25 words or more definition of what actually happens here on a Saturday evening. I was calling Sam. I will get a check-in for Sam. How about to SWL 39? SWL 40. SWL 41. You must have good internet out there in New York, right on time. Road Dog 507, he's checking in, of course, from the Hudson Valley of New York. Tri-County React, looking good and accounted for tonight. Thanks for joining us. SWL 42.
Yeah, Proxy and 42 in the gang.
All right, 42 in the gang. We will get no problem. And I hear the sirens. Does anybody know? Does anybody know where Bozo Control is? And is he hiding out in the back? You will see the red lights go by if that's the case. SWL 43. Even the noise gates couldn't block those out tonight. SWL 44.
Yeah, proxy Ray in.
I will proxy Ray in. He was sounding good last night on the Ditch Banks sideband net, so 360 is in with the X. Thanks for that. Over to SWL 45. I'll get a proxy in for Paul. Paul, if you're listening, we miss you. So hopefully you can get everything in order to Say Hello Radio. Let's go to SWL 46. Shortwave listener 47. And I do have the crossband up, and I do have the Echo link up such that it is. I see we've got one station on that. I'll get Mike proxied in. I'm curious. He may pop in from anywhere, so I gotta be listening. Gotta be listening tonight.
Dennis?
This is the basic Dennis, over.
It was my Golden Beagle receiver. I had to wiggle my AGC tube. Oh. Okay. You know what I meant. It's back.
Okay, well, it's good that it's back. It's good we know what the problem was. And we used to do, this is way back on the old Tube Radio Network, where people would grab their RF proof gloves, and we'd have a little bit of tuber size. Or it would be, you'd have your old tube radio in front of you with the case opened up very safely, and we would do like, all right, all the 12 AX7s, 1, 2, wiggle, 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 and all the 6 BQ5s, 1, 2, wiggle, 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 and we would go around and exercise all those tubes. It was sort of like a Jack LaLanne thing. We haven't done that in a while, so I'm glad that you remembered what to do.
Yeah, first thing I thought of after I turned the Golden Beagle on, and you were just fine. So, anyway, I wiggled my AGC, but nobody saw. Okay, turn it back to you.
All right, as they say, back to me in the studio. Thanks for that, and glad that it was an easy fix.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, okay, back to you, bye.
Bueno. All right, let's go to Shortwave listener 49.
Proxy 49.
All right, I will proxy 49, Smitty and Sweet Country Mama. Hope they are doing fine. We'll get them checked in. Thanks for that. Over to SWL 50. SWL 51.
SWL 51, checking in.
All right, you can actually kind of hear me tonight, which is good. I hear you just fine. We got you checked in.
Thank you, Dennis. Have a good evening.
All right, I'm listening on all devices. SWL 52.
Break station.
I will get Aaron with the proxy, but he might jump in on some mode of operation. The break station. This is OTR. Go ahead. Over.
50 here and checking in.
All right, SWL 50. I wonder if I missed you, because you were right there saying he doesn't know. He doesn't know how to count. I was absent from math class on Friday, and I think that right when we got to that 49, 50, 50, I was probably not in class. So I have been re-educated, and I will say SWL 50 is sounding good. Over. Okay, it takes a while to get the hang of this net control. I figure if I got another 10 years, I'll be doing good. We're at the bottom of page 2, and we're looking for 53, Mr. Belair. Over.
Good evening there, Dennis. 53, the Legend, checking in.
All right, the Legend is sounding good. Did I hear a rumor that the Legend is going to be a year older coming up?
Yes, sir. Yeah, tomorrow, most of my family, they're going to celebrate my birthday as well.
All right, well, as Sheriff John used to say on the children's show back in Los Angeles ever so long ago, put another candle on your birthday cake, you're another year old today, or maybe it's tomorrow. Anyway, glad to have you along. We've got you checked in.
Thank you, sir. Have a good night. 73.
Directed net roll call is what we've got. The tube radios are coming up. 27085, channel 11, oldtuberadio.net, and some YouTube video going on as well. Page 3, looking for SWL 54. Got a proxy in for Larry. M&M in just moments ago at 55, and heading to the west, not too far, SWL 56.
Good evening, Dennis and the net, 56, just for kicks.
All right, it's a nice day to be out. I see that number 4 is roaming the streets, albeit carefully, and we put the X in the square. Thanks. Over to shortwave listener 57. Oh, Brown Dog Audio's in. I got a early check-in for Mr. BDA. Over to SWL 58. And I'll get a proxy check-in for Jeremy. I heard that he actually has gotten some type of formidable employment that will probably keep him away from the radios, but maybe give him enough, remuneration so that he can buy more radios that he can't use. Let's go to SWL 59. And Uncle Hairball was in. He was listening in early when we turned everything on. So 59, we got you checked in. The United Delta X-Ray 786 with the multiple check-ins. Let me actually click there so it will change and say that you are officially checked in. Thanks. Where am I going now? SWL 60, hello radio.
Hello, Dennis. I hope you can hear me okay. We're kind of running still high SWRs. Need to do a little bit more work on this antenna. Evening time to everyone. SWL 60 checking in.
All right, SWL 60, you're beaconing into the control point here. Maybe not as highfalutin on the S meter as normal, but I hear your voice, and that's a good thing. And yeah, there's a little bit of noise in with the signal. It's indicative of a possible malfeasance on the standing wave ratios, but as long as the radio is happy, we've got you checked in. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Dennis. I appreciate that information. We'll work with it. We got a couple of bands running here, but I know our SWRs are just a little too high, but we'll work on it. Thanks, Dennis.
Okay, we will do that. Let's see. Also, a honk of the Bozo Control Proboscis for Captain Robert. Good to have you back into your air chair and waving the proverbial Citizen Band radio hand tonight. So, checking in your Riku boat. I wonder if you're listening in on oldtuberadio.net, but we're glad you're out there. Always good to see you on the audio stream. Out there, not sure exactly where you are, but in near Las Vegas, Nevada, coming through tonight. We've got 60 just checked in, SWL 61, Dino at the beginning of the net here without a problem. Let's go to SWL 62.
Break OTR.
And the break OTR, go ahead, over.
Good morning. I just wanted to let you know this is the best I've ever heard you.
All right, well, I'm standing up tall. I've got my tie on straight tonight, and of course, I can never talk to anybody that doesn't have a good receiver, else they won't hear me. So that is a good thing. We did a little revamping here, and apparently I re what needed to be vamped. Thanks for checking in.
Thanks, Dennis.
All right, and there's still a lot more to go to bring net control out of the mud duck category. So we will keep that in mind. 61 in. Let's go to SWL 63. And then right there, as if it were his time to be called, and indeed it is, SWL 64. Craig listening in from Wisconsin tonight. Out there in Nine Land, 40 meters was open wide last evening after 9 or 10 o'clock. I was hearing Wisconsin, Illinois, Texas, all those stations that you normally don't hear. So maybe again tonight. Let's thanks Craig for checking in. Let's go to SWL 65. And I've got a note to get Eric checked in, which I will. SWL 66. And who is that? Ron. Ron says he's listening in from Tasmania. Well, I'm thinking it's probably via the digital mode, because if my signal is making it to Tasmania, then I may truly have an antenna problem tonight. But thanks for joining us, Ron. We do this every Saturday evening here in the U.S., and we will be talking with some of the classic older tube radios coming up. So stay tuned. If you can't stay tuned, there's a replays on the video somewhere, which is always interesting. Let's go to SWL 67. Shortwave listener 68, Michael in New York. I've got you checked in. I'm going to go back to the code key. At least I know where that was to get checked. Oh, they're coming back again. SWL 69, Kenny, we got you checked in earlier. I saw you on the video stream. So if you're still there, hello radio. If you're watching the replay, hello radio again. All right, there it is. I think I'm keyed up. Let's go to SWL 70. And it's been a long time since we heard Mark. He moved, and then he had to redo antennas, and then there was bad weather, and then there was good weather. So I'm assuming that he is working on getting something up and running, hopefully soon, sooner than later. But we will definitely get you checked in. Let's go over to SWL 71, Stan, and try as I might. As usual, I was never in the right spot at the right time to listen in on the Whiskey 4 Delta. I even tried Monday night. So you see, and that was back when I was having all the problems with the tuner. So finally, now that I've got that fixed, we will have to wait for the next time to go around. So I hope that all went well on that endeavor. It sounds like a fun item of interest. Stan checking in from Dallas, Georgia tonight. Beaconing in from Anon Acres out there in the Oakland Hills tonight, from the radio room of sorts. Hello to Jonathan, who is one of those ham radio operators that is always ready to give a helping hand to his fellow armature radio compatriots who may or may not know what it is that they're doing. But John always sets them straight, and things are good. I believe we have a cross-band check-in. Hello, radio from KB6GFD.
Hello, radio. SWL 52 from behind the golden microphone out here in West Fresno.
All right, sounding good from West Fresno on the two-way. I'm not sure how the HF radios are doing, but I will get you checked in, and it is a nice evening to be out anywhere.
Yes, a nice evening to go spend $700 at Costco. But I should be ordering my Antron 99 next week, so I'll hopefully be able to check in on the appropriate frequency here pretty soon. We'll catch you later.
All right, well, you've got the radios to do that now, so you can probably be anywhere and portable and port yourself in. And the way it goes at Costco, you know, if you can get out the door with $700, you are doing pretty good. The Costco card here for the old Tube Radio Network often gets charged up into at least that much. Sounding good, thanks for checking in. KB6GFD.
Well, you know, the Jingle Singers have to have their fruit snacks. We'll catch you later.
All right, from the Crossband Radio SWL 52, Aaron, who is putting his radio station together nicely with the, I think he's got the ICOM, what is their 9000 model for the VHF, UHF, SHF. He's got the 705 for some portable items that we just heard, and the two-way portable going on. So he's getting it all together and looking to get some antennas as well. 9700, 7300. Yeah. At some point, he's going to have to put an addition on the house, or else he's going to have to move from the smaller closet into the walk-in closet for his Radio Shack. Direct-to-net roll call is where we are at. The old tube radios are coming up soon. 71 is checked in. Let me go over to, I lost my page here, SWL 52, and we'll also get SWL 72. Shortwave listener 73. And yeah, Tony, the FT818ND, which is the, what do they say, not much bigger than a pack of cigarettes, and that will allow you to do some nice portable stuff with a little battery and your wire as you pull it out of the backpack and go on your POTA or SOTA, and we're going to be on the TOTA, Tubes on the Air, coming up. Let's go to SWL 74. Got a note to check in 74, which I will, SWL 76. And that's Red Fox out of Johnson, Rhode Island. I know he is listening in. I did see, yeah, there he is, on the Polycom 23, trying to fix an unrepairable at any reasonable cost. Yeah, you can't win them all. Well, yeah, sometimes they have been misused. Sometimes they're just a little bit old. But don't fret, because a lot of these, in fact, all of these tube radios look nice just sitting there. So get out the Lemon Pledge and the Windex. Be careful with the Windex; it can take the numbers off of things. And polish it up and sit it there in the radio desk. So at least it's in the background and ready to go. Thanks for joining us tonight. We've got you checked in. Let's go a little closer to home for SWL 77.
Well, good evening, Dennis, and glad to hear you got the station squared away. It just sounds marvelous. And 73s to all the listeners, 77 checking in.
All right, yeah. Got some reports that people are actually hearing me tonight. Got the window open, got a little breeze coming through. I can hear it hitting the condenser microphonium. So I may have to go close the window. You are sounding good. Thanks for joining us tonight, and thanks for the help on the pre-program tune-up. Making sure I got all the X's where they're supposed to go. Next would be that guy from Wild Wildemar, SWL 78. Listening for Richard. Maybe he's down on 40 meters. SWL 79. And my trackball mouse is failing me here. To use one of these this trackball, you have to be very adept. It's almost like learning a musical instrument. You have to practice on it, and you have to have dexterity. This trackball, hey, I hear myself. Let me fix that. It's almost like learning a musical instrument. You have to practice on it, and you. All right, and I can tell me that I'm not quite good on the internet tonight, but at least that part is working. And let me call SWL 79 again. Okay, my Facebook For some reason, it's failing me here tonight. Over to SWL 80. SWL 81. SWL 82.
82, checking in from the ditch banks of Biola. Good evening. Sounding good out this way. No static, no DX, and coming in great.
All right, sometimes, despite my best efforts, I do manage to get it right. You are sounding good. It was good to actually make it into the Ditch Banks sideband net last night. What we're talking about is 36 lower sideband. You can join that person that we just heard right there as net control on Saturday evenings beginning at 8 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time on sideband. How was it last night? It didn't seem like it was too busy on the skip, but the check-ins were pretty good.
Yeah, I think we had like 35 check-ins, somewhere around there, and Tasmanian stopped by to say hi, so yeah, it was pretty good,
Yeah, in fact, we have, who's listening in from tonight? Ron. Ron is listening in from Tasmania tonight over at oldtubeраdio.net, so we're ready to have some conditions. You're sounding good, and thanks for checking in on the Old Tube Radio Network. We are on page 4, if I didn't mention that. And we're looking for SWL 83. JZ, are you there? I was looking because I thought I may have seen him on the big list, but I'm not seeing that. Joey, Tango Romeo 21 X-Ray, is getting his 148 back from the doctor. Yeah, it's not a tube radio, but it's a radio nonetheless. I mean, you got to have something. You got to have some RF transmitting device to play the game. All right, there is Mr. JZ out of Ohio. 83 is here. Thanks for joining us here tonight. Then I will get the, is it the triple play? I think it's the quadruple play of SWL 84, SWL 86, 87, and 88. And that is the Cheerios Kid, the Mountain Maid, Tandy Girl, and the Snowy Owl, respectively. You can hear Jerry, Cheerios Kid 84, on Friday Friday afternoons, Friday morning and afternoons, on the noontime net down there on 7204 on his classic vintage tube radio, by the way. So he takes his tube radios seriously, whether it's on 27 megahertz or down on 7 megahertz. Over to SWL 89. SWL 90, we get proxy check-in for 90. SWL 91. And Felix is in, saying hello to all the Old Tube Radio operators, shortwave listeners. Thanks, Felix. Always good to have you aboard here on the Old Tube Radio Network. SWL 92. And the new guy. Well, he's not quite a new guy. He's been on the radio for a while, but he's new to the list here. 777. Hello, Jimmy.
Yeah. I'm here.
All right, you are sounding good. And I have been ask to put the X in the square, which I will do for SWL 93.
Thank you, Dennis.
Next thing is SWL 95. SWL 96. Oh, there's 95. I'm going too fast here. Warthog 95 out there in beautiful Orlando, Florida. Saying good evening to everyone. I was seeing if with thanks 95, I'll get you in on the list. I was seeing if Dennis, Prune Picker 96 is listening in tonight. And I'll check. He might have checked in earlier. Possible, but I will get Dennis checked in. I heard him check in on the Ditch Banks sideband net last night. Over to Jim, Boston 97. He's listening in for the glow in the darks. Thank you. Yes, real radios do glow in the dark, and we should have some. I know I heard a couple of them tuning up before the net here. So we should have some coming by. SWL 98. Hello, Tracy. I don't know if you're listening. You might actually be able to hear me beaconing through the hills tonight. Got a check-in for Randy from earlier out there near Phoenix. Always has the beam and the radios ready to give us a call if indeed you were able to hear us. And what is next? Oh, I think if I am able to get it to have some functionality, we're going to try the Echo Link tonight. Tony from McClellanville, South Carolina is listening in, and we'll see if he's around. KD4BAO, KB6GFD, hello radio. Oops, hang on a second. All right, sometimes if I don't do it just right, I don't unkey. But here comes Tony.
In SWL 100, back to net control, KD4BAO.
All right, got you checked in, and I know you are prepping and polishing up for the tubes on the air coming up shortly. Good to hear you live and direct here in the control room tonight. Thanks for checking in. Let's head over to Scranton, Arkansas for SWL 102. I think John is out there listening. Indeed, he is. Saying hello, radio to all the stations, shortwave listeners tonight. Let's try shortwave listener 103. And Foxman 362. What kind of track? It is a, yes, indeed, it's a Logitech. And this is the quick replacement for the one that I had for the laptop that didn't make it back with my luggage. I had the laptop and the Musi mouses separated. So this is one of those, you've got to have hand-eye coordination. So it's nice that you don't have to swing it all around the desk, because I have limited real estate here. But man, it is, like I said, it's like learning a musical instrument. You really have to you really have to work at it. I'm glad that it's not a musical instrument, because were you to hear me playing that, it is a bad thing. It's a bad thing, let me tell you. Let's go to SWL 109.
Good evening, Dennis. Conrad 109 checking in.
Wow, super. I don't know how it works that you can get louder than you were last week. I can hear you. You can probably hear me tonight. I got things fixed, whatever that means. And we're putting the X in the square. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight here on the Old Tube Radio Network.
Thank you, Dennis, and you're sounding great tonight.
Okay. And not because of anything I've done, for sure. Thanks for checking in. JB, aloha from Kalua, Kona. I think that's what I read it correctly. Hope all is going well out there. I don't know what happened. We were having all the mini graphs come through earlier, and now I'm not hearing a thing. Where is, let me see if I can grab our gray line chart. if it were to show up, we can see where the gray line is. I think it's heading out your way, but for some reason the internet seems to be slow tonight. So we'll catch that a little bit later. But thanks for joining us. Let's go to SWL 110. SWL 111. Robert was on earlier, but said he couldn't make it through the local traffic. Although his station often sounds good here. It's just, I think it's a matter of keying up at the right time. Robert, if you are listening, we've got you checked in here tonight. All right, here's the gray line map. If I can get it to come in a little bit closer here, let me find it for you. But there you go, gray line coming up. We're definitely in it in the West Coast. The Hawaiian Islands are coming up here in about a half an hour, so we will be listening in for items of interest. Modes of operation. Let's go to SWL 113. Shortwave listener 114.
114 checking in.
114, hello Wayne. The X is in the square. Thanks for joining us here on the Old Tube Radio Network.
Thank you for the check-in, Dennis.
Over to the Universal Media Netweb and Fairfax, Virginia. I think I did see were I able to figure out the trackball mouse here. I did see John checking in about an hour ago. SWL 128. Let me get you checked in and hope your SWLing adventures are going well. Over to SWL 131. Wired magazine. We have them at the radio station. It's actually a very nice. Always some good articles in Wired. Maybe they will do a retro article on the goofy people that still use wireless wired communications, not through the internet. Although we do use the internet here, so we've kind of melded the old and the new, which is kind of fun. Let's go over to SWL 133. Shortwave listener 135.
Okay, if this thing is going to work, SWL 135 checking in.
It is going to work, and it's working just fine, and I'm sure we will hear more from it in just moments. We've got you checked in. Over to Shortwave listener 137 for AJ with an X in the square. And I think we've got another, in fact, I know we've got another Echo link. So let me see if I can fire up the Echo link and talk to Mr. Tony up in Corsko, the gentleman that runs one of the early riser nets. One of them is on Friday. I missed it again, but man, the questions this week, Tony, were... You had to be a Rhodes Scholar for some of those. Anyway, I hope you can hear me. AJ6PD from KB6GFD. Get Tony on here.
So SWL 145 checking in. If you remember about the delay when I'm watching the live stream.
Okay, that's right. Then the live stream is delayed and the Echo link is delayed, so there is some interesting coordination that goes on between everything else. Tony, you are sounding good. Thanks for doing the Friday net. Like I said, I enjoyed those questions. I had to look up that one. It was like, are you kidding me? But I did it. So I always learn something from those questions. Thanks for checking in, and we've got the X and the square over. All right, thanks for checking in, sir. You are sounding good. KB6GFD. Shortwave listener 147 checked in as 00, checking in again as 147. Thanks, Neil. We've got you checked in, and as they say, checked in. Then we head over to Bobby. I think he stopped by the Ditchbank sideband last night, SWL 188.
Good evening, Tom Dennis. Good evening, Tom Dole, SWLs 188, finally checking in.
All right, sometimes it takes a while. That road, that path to the radio room sometimes is a long and winding road, but it sounds like you managed to grab hold and get into the air chair. Sounding good. Thanks for checking in.
10-4, good evening time.
I want to say hello to Jukebox 502 out there in Nine Land. Hope all is going well on this. Is it early morning for you guys, or is it just it's coming up that way? I think the clocks may have changed. But anyway, thanks for staying up late, joining us tonight in the Old Tube Radio Network. Also, I think I should be beaconing up a little better up the hill tonight, Jim. The Course Gold Starliner 195, hello radio.
195 checking in, Dennis. Boy, you're sounding good tonight.
Okay, well, it's because of the nice cloud cover or something like that. That's my story anyway. You are sounding good, and we've got you checked in.
Thank you much, guys, and have a good evening.
And then up we go to SWL 226, Mr. Shockwave. And anybody that I might have missed, let's just say, jump in now and we'll get you checked in. Over. All right, copy, 1102, where you guys are at. All right, I need to jump around, change some cables, get ready for the tube radios, which I do believe we will have some here tonight. So stand by for that. This is the, what do they say, the pause that refreshes, and we'll be back in just moments on your Old Tube Radio Network. Stay tuned.
SWO40 checking in.
On your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
Yeah, we'll have to check some of the connections. They're coming in quite loud tonight. Stan and X4000
very weak.
and Billy May Orchestra, all that. The Old Tube Radio Network. Back here to check in the tube radios, and radios are a good thing. I just wanted to pause for a moment, see if I get a picture here of some radio antennas. A lot of you know that Bob and Steve, who've been hanging out with us for 3 years or so, would often come in and let us know what was going on, the happenings. Bob, who was a ham radio operator since the 1970s, unfortunately recently passed away, and he was a gentleman that enjoyed OTR so much, and all the radios and all the listeners, that he just had to come in each week and make sure that things were absolutely perfect for the net here. Here is, if you're watching the video, this is his antenna and tower. He's one of those guys, consummate ham, that had a 200-foot tower back in the 70s full of those antennas. I don't know if it was a rotating tower or not, but he was able to cover every frequency, including 10 meters, and yeah, maybe he listened into 11 meters as well. But definitely going to miss Bob, who kept us up to date week after week with his shenanigans on the goings-ons here at the Old Tube Radio Network. So congratulations to all of you for entertaining Bob out there, and we will keep up the good work so that those other listeners that enjoy the radio and what CB radio, the sound that it was. Now, what it is today is a little bit different, but back in the 60s and 70s, and when these towers were brand new, CB radio, I think, was a little bit different. It was the social media of the day, and so I think we all treated it with a little bit more respect and a little bit differently. So we have fun doing that. All right, the Old Tube Radio Network is back. I have the pocket protector pin that I will issue here and tonight. Let me go to the less than stellar camera here. And yeah, it's really out of focus. That means it's going to work well. We've got CBS tubes from Ken L's Radio Supply out there in Dodge, Iowa, over there on Central Avenue. So we will place that into the pocket protector, and let me roll over. I got to unkey. Roll over to the E.F. Johnson. Illuminate our tube radio here at the control point so that we will feel like we're part of this program. The Old Tube Radio Network, we are listening for any and all radio check-ins.
Number 7, 135.
All right, 2 heard. So let me write them down on the list, and we will take them in order. 135, head over to the green room. We will catch you in a moment, but you are sounding good. You'll be radio 2. And stepping up into the air chair now at 911, plus or minus my error on the Radio Shack Micronta large digital display LED clock. Hello, Mr. Ed. Take a transmission.
And good evening to OTR Control and all net members. Bringing you the Golden Eagle Mark III SSB from Browning.
20 after Cliff.
All right, 20, we will put you in Mark you down for Radio 3 from Browning Laboratories. I believe it is, at least at that time, Laconia, New Hampshire, will get a shot, a likeness thereof. Where would it be? It would be that picture right there. Oh, there it is. The Browning Golden Eagle Mark III, and it says advertisement. That is actually, Cliff, we're using your radio, so we see you for Radio 1. We're going to hear you for Radio 2. But I like to use this because it has the, what is it called? The Golden Eagle microphonium. The D104 in gold. Is it really gold-plated over?
Yes, that microphonium is actually gold-plated, but at this time, I have a banana mic on.
All right, like to dress up. Maybe that's why the ping is so orchestrated, because it's a little bit easier to move that around.
Yes, it most definitely is easier to hold the banana mic and move around other than the great big old D104 gold-plated, which I also always wear gloves so I don't mess it up.
All right, and the other thing is, when you're swinging, let me get the larger, wow, that is a large shot. When you're swinging the D104 microphonium around, you want to make sure that you don't hit yourself in the face, because that you could require dental work.
There you go, yeah. It is a bit large and unwieldy to be slinging around. The banana microphone makes it real easy.
It makes it real easy and sounding nice. The Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB at your electronic dealers. In 1972, 73, 74, 75, and even 1976, replacing the Mark II. Prices were, if you were lucky, you might find one for under $700, but in that $1970, that was a one expensive radio, but built well, lasted the test of time, pretty much hand-assembled, handmade in the plant here in the US of A, and you can't go wrong. Take another transmission.
There you go, and a whole lot of tubes in that two-piece radio, and of course you got to have enough desk space to put them next to each other. Otherwise you got to stack them on top of each other, which I don't like to do.
Indeed. Went to the S meter where we can see your 20 over S9. The gray line is hitting the Pacific Islands, starting to get a little bit of a skip in. And let's see, is the microphone the same housing as the static Silver Eagle? Let me go see if I get a close-up. I want to say, from not knowing, I want to say that it is. I should have a better picture of the microphonium, but I think it is the same microphonium in gold. And were I to have a picture of the back, it has the eagle on the back, right? Or a BL logo. It's got something on the back.
Yes, it does have the eagle on the back, and no, I have the Silver Eagle sitting right next to it, as a matter of fact, and the Silver Eagle and the Golden Eagle are not the same. The Silver Eagle has the push bar on the base where you got, and the choker, and the Golden Eagle only has the choke bar.
Aha, well, good to know. I'm going to see, yeah, there's the classic D104s. Is that one? Let's go. Oh, okay, there's the backside with the eagle. And I know some of them will have a BL logo, making you sick moving the picture around here. So there are some differences. All right, good. Perfect question and the perfect answer. And we're glad that you brought by our first radio tonight, the Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB, always sounding good.
Thank you. Yeah, the Golden Eagle was actually made for the 1976 bicentennial.
How many of us are around? Raise your hand. We're around for the bicentennial, and there were all sorts of things going on, including creating a couple of possible radios and microphoniums to go with them. So good deal. So we don't have to wait for 2076. So I wonder what they'll be doing for that. Sounding good. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
let's see, Jackie asking, is the banana mic naturally more, is that quiet than a 77.6? Mine are both there. I don't know. It's definitely a different sound. The D104s typically, depending on the element you've got, would accentuate the highs a little bit. So I definitely can typically tell when he's on the 776 because you got a little bit more mid-range volume going on. And of course the 776 comes out of the stand. It comes out of the stand and you can wave it around and do the eagle thing. So I think that's one reason they liked Browning liked that microphone, just because it was a little bit easier to manipulate as you orchestrated your ping, such that it was. Radio number 2, a station sometimes known as the Green Arrow, now stepping up to the microphonium. Hello, Cliff.
Hey, it's working. Hello, Dennis.
Hello, radio. It is working. And in all this time, and you probably said what it was, I don't even know what radio you have, and we were testing it a lot. It sounds good, crunch, crackle, or not. It just has a very good audio. So over to you, and we'll all find out what it is.
Sorry, is it my turn? Somebody keyed up there.
It is your turn. Over.
Okay. I'm not sure where these were made. I usually come in with a from here or there, and I'm not sure where these were made. Now, let me take a deep breath. Let's see, this is the B&K Mark Cobra Chem 88. Okay? The longest radio name, I think, of any of the radios I've got. The B&K Mark. So I don't know what it is under, on your Rolodex, if it's under B&K Mark or Cobra, but it's the B&K Mark Cobra Chem 88, 10 tubes, and all 23 channels, crystal controlled, no waiting. Back to you.
Yes, it is under, believe it or not, it is under B&K Cobra Chem. I should have known, because it has that good audio, like sonar, where you get full fidelity, like the general radio telephone, where you get good fidelity. There's that Cam 98, the 88 and we'll start the controversy here. Let me get a larger screen view. There is one that has the mod lights. I guess they both have the modulation light, but then there's a switch underneath that you may or may not have that may or may not do something. Over.
Chicago. Yeah, I was just about to say that, Harvey. Dynascan Corporation. It's from the Dynascan Corporation in Chicago, Illinois. And yeah, that switch is the Dyna Boost from Dynascan. Get it?
Ah, okay. And B&K doing all sorts of things, radios just being one of them. I was trying to look up a manufactured date for this radio. I don't have an exact date, so I'm going to say it's probably the late 60s. Wasn't their final tube radio, but always seems to put a good item in on the audio. We have a couple of stations here locally that do have those. I know we've got a couple of SWLs that have them for repair. In fact, one station said they're looking for, and I don't know, Harvey might know this, if the meters on those are unobtainium, if they were used in some other radios, or if the Cobra Chem 88 meter, if you have one that the meters failed, if it's possibly easy to find a replacement. Anyway, I'm assuming yours is working well, so take a transmission.
It is currently working well. The meter is showing my relative power output, depending on how powerful your relatives are, and it shows you coming in at just under 9 S units on the receive. So it's working. It's illuminated and everything, and I can even read the channel 11 glowing on the other side of the radio. And let's see, currently yes, hello, audio. The mod light is modding away. Back to you.
You got to have your mod light modding, or it's going to be a long evening. All right, and my internet is not modding anymore, so hopefully I'm still streaming out there. It looks like everything is stopped, so I'm not sure if that's a computer issue or an internet issue, but it is good. Your mod light is modding. The Cobra Cam 88. What has somebody said? The big school bus where the wheels on the bus go round and round. So hopefully I know I'm on the air at 27085. I seem to have lost a lot of my internet connectivity here. So on we go. Take another transmission.
Okay. Well, I'll let everybody else go here. Haven't checked this thing in probably like a year. So thank you very much for letting me check it in. This is SWL 135, checking in on the Dynascan Corporation of Chicago, Illinois' B&K Mark Cobra Cam 88. Yeah, that's enough said right there. Thanks again for letting me check it in. See you next time.
Okay, and I actually think it's getting better as you use. I remember when you first came on earlier, prior to the net. There was a lot of crackling and crunching. It was still sounding good, but there's a lot of that. And that seems to be working itself out. So maybe it's one of those things that just needed a little attention. Over.
Yeah, I think so. You got to use these things or they start sticking up on you. So again, thanks for letting me yak out here for a little while on it, and keep those tubes a-glowing. Back to you, and we'll catch you next time.
All right, sounding good. 73. My apologies to those who may be at oldtuberadio.net working the video. For some reason, I'm having some internet capable incapabilities going on. So I hope it's not messing up the stream, and I will see what I can do to fix that. But in the meantime, here locally, 27085, everything is running marvelously. So that's typically how it works. The radios break and the internet works. The internet works, the radio breaks. It's really hard to get them all to come on at the same time, but I'm working on it. Thanks, Cliff, for radio number 2, the Cobra Cam 88, and we head over to what I think is going to be radio number 3 from Harvey out there on the not-so-west side. Over.
Alrighty. Yeah, this is a tram TR27E. It is not my tram. Belongs to JT in the Carolinas, South Carolina. And he got it from Mr. Bill at Red Monkey. And it has red insert knobs. Excuse me. So, pretty sharp looking. Anyway, it's a work in progress. Transmit's almost done. And receive, I've got to get in there. A lot of resistors are out of tolerance. So I have to get in there and tolerate the problem for a while and fix those. Anyway, tram TR27E, red and blue. It's got the red insert knobs, black surround knobs instead of gray. I'm using an amped D104, turned down quite a bit.
All right, we've got great audio. I may have you come back a little bit because I'm not sure how well I'm streaming at the moment. And as you mentioned, we definitely would like to get SWL 20 able to hear it. And were I to actually get the computer to working properly, we might do that. So it's coming back now, so hopefully it's good. Anyway, go ahead and take another transmission and tell us again. We are on the tram 27E. It's sounding good. All right, Foxman 362 is giving it thumbs up. Give us another transmission. Over.
Okay. The tram TR27E, amp D104, turn way down. There's no audio gain control in the tram, so
It's what it is. Still needs a couple of tubes replaced and a few other things done. It's post on frequency. And oh, by the way, the meter for the Cam 88, yes, is almost unobtainium. I've seen it on one other radio, and I cannot remember what radio that is. But yeah, if the light bulb goes out, have fun replacing it. It's pretty much as bad as trying to do a general Super MC type series light bulbs or any of those with that square meter with the two little granoid light bulbs. It's pretty much as bad. Anyway, so there you go on this one. So I'll let you go. And Dennis, JT said he was going to send you a picture of this radio and see if you could put it up. So I don't know if you could find that. Okay, back to you.
Oh, all right. I wonder if he sent it. I mean, I've got various venues on which you can send the radio, so it may be here, but I may not have looked in the right spot. And you know what? I think the station that I talked to that said they had the meter problem was exactly what you mentioned. They tried to fix or replace the light bulb in the meter and ended up ruining the meter while trying to replace the light bulb. So I guess what we're saying is if anybody has the Cam 88 with the burnt out light bulb in the meter, but the meter is working, you're probably ahead of the game, right?
Oh, yeah. It's one light bulb in the meter up at the top, recessed. There are two solder connections, one on either end of an oblong light bulb. Now, you can get those light bulbs, but you better know how to solder and have the right soldering iron. And then, you need to say a couple of prayers and then try it.
Okay, well. Oh, on Messenger. All right. JT is trying to give me... Okay, that's what the problem was. My Facebook was slowing down the whole item here. So I will pull that up. And I'm going to see if before you go... There we go. We can't get the photo of the radio. Okay, you know what? I actually have it. So I'm going to switch over to that. It might not be the best because it's kind of a small picture, but there it is, sitting on the box. And you are right. And so and this is the 27E, so definitely different than Mr. Ed's with the surround. So could this be the original? How they actually did it at one point? Or this is some type of 1963 anniversary edition? But there it is, very colorful. This is a great green and red Christmas radio. Over.
You got it. It's not the original knobs. Original ones are the gray knobs, as far as the pictures I've seen. And as far as that meter goes, if your light bulb is working, but your meter is broken, if you slowly take it apart, etc., to replace the meter movement, be aware that the meter movement itself is smaller than like-looking meters, the square-type meters, where the outside of the meter and the meter glass appears to be the same size, but the actual meter movement is smaller. So you got to look at that before you start hacking away at it. You have to get lucky and find a parts radio and hope that's all good. Okay, I'll turn it back to you. Other people want to talk, and I'm tired.
All right, well, this is the I am tired frequency. Uncle Gunter says, and hello to you. Thanks for joining us this morning. If you're going to take it apart, go for the, the LED blue. And then once you get that LED in there, you shouldn't have to worry about replacing it. ever again. I know there was a trick on the Yaesu FT101s. We put in a bulb with a higher wattage, or voltage rather, and so it would illuminate a little bit less intense, but the filaments would love you because of the lower voltage, and they would last longer. But on the LEDs, that seems to be the way to go now with replacing things, is trying to get those LEDs in there. But it sounds like it's a chore regardless of what you were doing. Mr. JT is online listening and looking. And one more thing, Harvey. I'm going to pull up the S meter so we can see how good things are sounding. But that radio is sounding fantastic. So take a transmission. Do you want me to do the zero beat or not? Anyway, take a transmission. Here comes the S meter.
Okay. Go ahead and beat my zero. I think it's going to be 085.3 or 4.
Channel 12, which is what it operates on, should be 084.9 or 5.
I tried to do the happy medium, which is a lady that tells your fortune that is a comedian. Anyway, tell me what it is.
All right, looks good on the meter. It is, it's actually pretty good. It's 27085.2 something. So it's actually, if I go to 3, you're not quite centered. So I have to go down on frequency. So 200 and some change, which is quite acceptable, over.
Righty! And channel 12 is acceptable too. Okay, I've got the company coming in the front door, so I got to get there. All right, see you in a bit. Bye.
All right, thanks for joining us. The Tram TR27E. And let me go to the other photo again so that those are our friends and fans of old Radio Night in the not too distant future. I'm sure in 2023, expect to see and perhaps hear this particular radio, which you're just listening to and are looking at now if you got the video, on your favorite old Radio Night episode. All right, thanks everybody. The Jingle Singers are saying you haven't heard from us, and you know what? They are indeed correct. So if I can get the levels right, it is time for the Jingle Singers, and we will try and see if we can get a few more radios before we sign out tonight on the Old Tube Radio Network. Or not.
You're listening in the latest style.
27.085 megahertz. Channel 11, Old Tube Radio.
In wonderful
Fresno, California.
Wonderful Fresno, California. I don't know why the levels are so cattywampus tonight. The Old Tube Radio Network, real radio is glowing in the dark here in Central California. 27085 Channel 11 is our live. oldtuberadio.net, and an affiliated video is the replay and playback, if you will. OTR is standing by and listening for Radio 4.
In the Northwest.
Hey, 709, it's been a while up in the Northwest. Glad to hear that the band is open. Thanks for giving us a call. Take a transmission, over.
How about an Old Tube Radio?
Yeah, 709 in the Northwest. We hear you on OTR, over. All right, the band is opening up, 709 in the Northwest, giving us a shout, and it is one of those evenings, OTR listening.
Hey, Dennis, I'll get on out of everybody's way. Mr. 709, Big Joe Gun 8 flat side getting on down.
All right, thanks for pointing the Joe Guns down into Central California. Always good to hear your voice. OldTubeRadio.net on the replay. You're sounding good. Thanks for saying hello, radio. All right, so there it is. You see the band opening up here tonight. The gray line is past the Hawaiian Islands, and who knows what we might hear. OTR standing by. Also want to say hello to those joining us from Germantown, Wisconsin, Lansville, Pennsylvania, and somewhere close by Liberty Lake, Washington, where you might be listening in to us tonight if you're tuned in to channel 1127085. OTR standing by. Oh, and who was it? Somebody asked what the pen was tonight. It is, where I to find it, CBS Tubes from Ken L's Radio Supply Company in beautiful Fort Dodge, Iowa, the less than stellar close-up cam, and I'm losing my, there it is. A very nice metallic plastic. They just don't make them, like this anymore. And looks good in the pocket protector. I said it was a pen. You know what? This is actually, I think it's a mechanical pencil with the lead in it. But anyway, it looks good. It works well in the pocket protector. OTR is standing by, listening for Radio 4. And also for Halloween, somebody said Halloween is coming up. I will see if I can't find the talking pumpkin. And of course, if Halloween is here, you know we are going to get a visit from Espresso Trucking Company. I was checking the thing. I don't know if the Squamish, Albert and the Squamish boys are in tonight, but if they stop by, we'll pull up the uplink, satellite uplink, to see if we can say hello radio. Yeah, and Uncle Gunter, you are right. There's SOTA and POTA, and the dudes you're hearing tonight are the TOTA. Those are the tubes on the air, guys. And gals. And then, of course, SWL 135, Cliff always finds some spooky, scary radios to check in for the month of October. So stay tuned for that. And I would even suspect that Chrissy might even have some type of a spooky Halloween recipe as well. Maybe some type of pumpkin spice muffins, who knows? The Old Tube Radio Network, Real Radio's Glowing in the Dark. We are listening for any and all check-ins. All right, I think I hear an item of interest. This is KB6GFD, over.
I just tried getting you on the other band, and something's going on. You obviously didn't hear anything, right?
Well, unless we were doubling or there's something, you can try it again. I mean, it's actually pretty quiet right now. Over.
All right. So I just got home shortly ago and turned the 123 on. The receipt was fine. I was letting it warm up, and then I tried to key up, and when I unkeyed, the receive went way down. I mean, I could hear it. It was like someone was turning the volume down all the way. And now you can't hear me, and I think everything's plugged in where it should be, and at the right switch. Well, let me try it again.
All right, this is the try it again frequency, KB6 GFD. It could be just, net control is talking too much. That's always a problem.
No, I don't think it is. How about this one?
You're sounding good. Over.
Well, Houston, we have a problem here. Maybe we'll go into that later. I won't be negative. Greetings, OTR and everyone else from the Radio Lounge. This is SWO 47, where we just recently got back from the Mariposa County Fair. Fun place to be. Small town fair and decent corn dogs, and we're finally back in town now.
Yeah, Mariposa up in the hills. Should be fun. All the fairs coming. I think the big Fresno Fair's coming up. Madera Fair probably already happened. I don't know when Cal Expo happens. I think that's... Gary would know about that. So, good. And it was probably a little cool up there, wasn't it?
It was in the low 70s, I think, by the time we left. Somewhere around there. Mid to low 70s. I think just on average, once we got back into town, it was probably 5-6 degrees warmer, something like that. But I got to tell you, it was really nice. It's been overcast, and it definitely was not overheating up there. Unlike this radio that, unfortunately, I should say unfortunately, it's a good radio to use. But this particular radio is not something that is very cool, unlike the weather up there. This is from the Radio Lounge, my Robin T123B is in Bravo.
All right, the T123B, I'll bring it up in the Rolodex. Yeah, it seems like your signal is down a little bit than what I would expect here, and your audio is definitely down. You need to probably get a little closer to the microphonium. I have a good picture. This is Robin and Box. Sometimes the box is more important than the radio. The very green machine T123B, looking good, and the box says 5-watt 22-channel Citizen band transceiver, the looks and performance of today by the designers and engineers, the looks and performances of tomorrow, got to read here, by the designers and engineers of today. Over.
Yeah, there it is. I got to say, now that I'm staring at the radio trying to struggle and talk about something that maybe I haven't necessarily talked about before, I thought it was really curious. I think I sound like a geek, or I feel like a geek for saying this, but I thought it was rather interesting that you were talking about apparently red knobs on a radio that might, I don't know, maybe it shouldn't have had red knobs or whatever. This radio, again, the 123B, it's probably the newest looking radio I have in the collection, and from what I can tell, the front of the knobs or the center of the knobs, I think it's color-coded. It's not just kind of like an unpainted chrome type of thing. The front of the knobs or the center of the knobs are color-coded. I think the cage and the lower portion of the face of the radio, I think it's the exact same color. So someone, I don't know who it is, but someone's color coordinating here. My hat's off to them.
Well, you would be correct. The tram that we were talking about earlier had the, we'll call it the center inserts, but theirs were almost like applique stick-ons, and then it had surrounds around the knob. So where yours have the fluted, I don't know if that's the right word, but the silver chrome, these actually have like an overlay circular disc over them. And you're right, the interiors of your volume squelch, fine-tune RF gain are green. Below it, in the center and below, where it says Robin, that's all a green bar. Above and below, where it says Final Tune RF gain, those are a green stripe. The channel selector has a green insert. And the surround, believe it or not, on the channel selector, you have your illuminated channel 11, but the color on either side of that, the background, if you will, is also green. So it is a green machine. And those of us SWLs that like that color will automatically like this radio over.
Okay, so this is kind of a fun direction where we're headed here. So you mentioned a few hours ago Halloween, and I thought, okay, great, I'll check in the 123 because it's got the winking and blinking magic eye, and of course that didn't work out. Apparently that radio now has an issue with it. Hopefully just takes a little bit of Windex to solve that one. But I'm kind of curious, green radios, I don't recall. I don't know, maybe there are folks. Are there folks that just check in around St. Patrick's Day, green radios?
Well, very thematic, and one of our radio operators, Mr. Green Arrow, by the way, I don't know if that has anything related to the radios, often will try, if he has the ability to theme the month, whether it's Christmassy or Halloween or St. Patrick's Day. I don't know what he does with 4th of July. It may be radios that have blown up or that have put out fireworks. But, he's got a very extensive collection of which we're seeing the radio right now. The radio that we're looking at is the Robin T123. And I believe if I click the right button, that is incorrect. So let me get rid of that. But this is the radio from Cliff's collection, and I can tell because one, it's switched to channel 11, and two, it is on. He never, unless it's impossible to do, he always takes a shot of the radio in action, as it were, and tuned appropriately to channel 11. Over.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I think the only other comment I can make about this radio right now, I've always found this interesting. It's got a modulation lamp on it, right? It's towards the center of the radio, and I don't know if you have the picture of the radio up right now, but it's got the external speaker that you could hook up to the radio, and you could select that, and of course that lamp would have lit up. Down at the the very top one is the external speaker. The very bottom one, little light towards the center, is a PA. The light in the middle is a modulation lamp, and I've always found this kind of interesting because it is barely kind of winking and blinking as I'm yapping into it right now. Uncomfortably loud, I might add. But I can't remember what it is about this radio, but this modulation lamp also seems to be quite active on receive, too. I don't know if that's just a mistake, if it's supposed to do that, if it didn't do it, but just with age, I don't know, something's going where it shouldn't, I don't know. But that's always been kind of a curiosity as far as this radio is concerned.
And I think somebody said hello, Dennis. I think that is an anomaly of the Panasonic number 2 chassis, because I've had reports of that from Chris and some other people that run the other models of this radio that are the same chassis, where they'll say, sometimes when you're talking, Dennis, my mod light will blink as well. So I'm thinking that's perhaps something in the design, or maybe a default or fault of the design, but yes, it could do that. Over.
Okay, well, it's doing it, and I can also confirm that it's kind of contingent upon how loud I have the volume turned up on receive. Volume's turned down, and that modulation lamp's not going to do anything whatsoever. You turn it up to 50, maybe 70, 75%, and it's going to be winking and blinking at you.
Yeah, I don't have. Let me check. I don't have any manual. Do we have an at oldtuberadio.com? Let me see. Operator's manual and schematic. So if you go to oldtuberadio.com, there's actually an operator's manual, and I don't know if that would say anything about. Oh, by the way, a feature. It's a feature, not a failure. A feature of the radio will also let you know that you have X amount of audio coming in when you see the winking and blinking on that. It's also got a schematic, but I don't know. Something tells me that's more of an anomaly than something else, but it is common on that chassis because I know a couple other stations that have the similar insides, not the Robin, have reported a like situation over.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, if I was smart enough to actually be able to follow a schematic and everything else, maybe I could make a comment on that. But I don't know. It's always kind of piqued my curiosity, and there it is. So I think on that, I know that there was someone else that might have wanted to chime in there. So I will kind of back out here and just enjoy the rest of the show. I wish I had another Robin to check in. I don't know. Maybe we'll get a hammer that when that's going. But anyways, there it is. Thanks for letting me check this in. Everyone sounds great on this. I was definitely appreciative of the instant on the air, or instant on switch. I guess that's what you call it, without having to necessarily warm it up because of the other failure. But anyways, there it is. Everyone sounds great on it. Thanks. 73 from the Radio Lounge.
All right, thanks for bringing us by Radio 4, the Robin T123, the Robin T123B, and Boston 197. Jim might explain that phenomenon, is the radio with the blinking, the mod light that works on receiver transmit, as perhaps the radio has just gone cattywampus. Over. And I would have to agree. Speaking of cattywampus, that is a good segue to get into our jingle singers, who may or may not be able to sing us a little song. Here we go.
What are the magic numbers?
27.085 megahertz, channel 11.
Are the magic letters?
OTR.
Right here in
Fresno, California.
Radio Magic.
Old Tube Radio.
For you.
And I don't know, we're having our usual level issues from here to there. But the issue we're not having is we've got tube radios. We've heard from the Pacific Northwest. We've got a modicum amount of shortwave listeners, some viewers, and you right out there on 27085 to maybe give us a few more check-ins before we sign out here on the Old Tube Radio Network.
Number 30, checking in number 10. Have a good evening down there, Dennis. 709 up here in Spokane, Washington. Enjoy your show.
All right, 30 and 10 in Idaho, 709 in Spokane. The bands have opened up, and thanks for joining us here on a Saturday evening from Central California. 30 and 10, we've got you checked in officially. Over.
Well, they're not all that great, but we're going to give it a shot. Anyway, good evening down there, Dennis. 73s.
All right, you are sounding good. The band is opening up. Hello, Chrissy. Hello, Dwayne. Thanks for joining us. Over.
Hello. Chrissy, say hi.
Sounding good, Chrissy. Thanks for joining us. Glad you can stay by the radio this afternoon. The band is open. 709 from Spokane in there as well, and a host of others. 73 from OTR. Yeah, let me get the official check-ins here. Where I be able to hit the right numbers. Yeah, just kind of floating in tonight. It's amazing how the band will just kind of open up for the E-skip. I definitely seem to be having some internet buffering going on tonight.
Break OTR?
The break OTR. Go ahead, sir.
Are you kidding me? So, if you can even still hear me, I guess that was coax that wasn't happy in the way it was screwed in to the antenna selector.
I hear you. Still looking good on the meter here, over.
Okay, well, I know it's almost 10 o'clock. How about adding another one to the list, the 123 by Robin?
All right, will do. Yeah, this radio always comes in a little bit louder. I think, and I'll check the S meter, that the other radio has a little bit more on the power output, but this it definitely has more on the audio output. I am going to the light. Yeah, the Magic Eye tube, looking good to take a transmission.
Well, we're all kind of breathing a sigh of relief. I thought this radio had taken a nosedive, but it was just the way the coax was screwed in there, I guess. That was really kind of bizarre, but my receive came up, so I thought, well, you know what, I think I just found the problem.
Well, I had a bizarre thing going on for months. I didn't know about it. It was my external antenna tuner had some issue. I was changing coax jumpers and everything affiliated, but I actually had another tuner, exactly the same tuner, and switched it out, and it solved multiple problems. So I'm going to have to open up the thing and see if there's, I don't know, something that a dummy like me would say, oh, look at that, and then either be able or not be able to fix it. So sometimes that's what you got to do. You got to find that thing that you wouldn't expect. You are sounding good. Here's the picture of the Robin T123 prior to 1972 with the Magic Eye tube. You're actually looking straight to the side of the tube, and they stand it up right in front of the radio and put a little surround sketch in, or whatever you want to call it. And so the goal, am I correct here? The goal is on your modulation is to get that top light color and the bottom light color to possibly come together in the middle, over.
Yep, that's exactly what's going on here. And I might add that if you do it with an unamplified mic, the Magic Eye tube just isn't going to do much of anything. Yeah, it's still entertaining. But I've got an amplified D104 on it right now, and I don't think anything else was changed inside. I don't think it was. I think it was just this amplified mic I'm on right now that really, my God, it made this this Magic Eye tube really quite active and even more entertaining.
I like that. Entertaining. These radios are entertaining. And again, my apologies if the video, people listening to the video are a little bit slow for some reason. We seem to have some issue going on here. I'm not sure exactly what's going on. But live and direct, we're sounding good. You get an A+ on this Robin as well, over.
Well, thank you. And, the only other comment I can make really is, the fact that you were dedicated enough and had the tenacity to stick with it and, track down your problem with your communications device. I know that sounds funny, but I think when we live in a throwaway society where, if most people have some sort of a roadblock as far as their communications are concerned, what do? They trade it in, get the next best, greatest thing. Where I think what you did is what most radio operators do, hang in there, solve the problem, fix it yourself, and get about your business, I think radio operators are not necessarily the throwaway type of breed, but there it is.
Agreed. So doing good. Did I mark you down as Radio 5? Yes, I did. The Robin T123 Franklin mentioning this is an interconnection where he is at. That's the problem. I got a lot of streams. I got the live stream going out. I've got a audio stream going out one way. I've got a video stream going out one way. I've got return streams coming back to make sure that things are working, plus all other sorts of little various items of interest to make this work. So sometimes the simplicity of just hearing someone in front of their tube radio, not connected to the internet, no network cables, no fancy stuff, albeit maybe a 1950-esque magic iTube. Sometimes the simplicity of electronica is a good thing. It gives me pause. I say maybe we're just overdoing it. Swipe your finger this way and swipe your finger that way. Give me a knob and a control that I can grab and twist, and it goes clunk, clunk, clunk. You are sounding good. Thanks for Radio 5.
Yep, my pleasure. Thank you. 73 from the Radio Lounge.
And I believe, do you have a Radio 6 to add before we try and sign off tonight? Over.
Yeah, do the Golden Beagle. The Beagle looks like it's going to go to the vet. I got it opened up, and I decided, well, I think I might as well go through it, just in case it has more of a problem, at least on the receiver. Anyway, this is the Beagle, so go ahead and check it in. R68T68 by Browning Laboratories.
All right, you think it needs more than just a little bit of a tube wiggle size, or probably would be a good idea just to double check, huh?
Well, I kind of think the tube has a short neck. Anyway, at least one tube. So I'm going to go through the whole thing and just check it all out. I've been using it for years without going through it, so might as well do it. Okay. Next week I'm working. So I don't know if I'll get back in time. Alrighty. We'll catch you later, Dennis.
All right, well, good. Glad to have you in this week. The Browning Golden Eagle R68T68 has been added to the list. I think I'll go ahead and do counting and mounting and a sign out. I've got some internet issues, so I don't know if anybody's hearing me or watching on the video stream. Locally, we're doing just fine, but there's been some strange internet stuff going on tonight. But it's nice to know I have the radio side of things finally working, and I hear you. Just like the reverse preamp that works for years and then doesn't, and then the tuner that works for years and then doesn't. And you think, well, what did I do? It's just like us. Sometimes you can get up in the morning and run around, and sometimes it's like I'm just going back to bed. Over.
Roger. Well, I think it's a short net tube because it works just fine. Then it cuts down. I mean, like, short. So, it doesn't fade or anything. Alrighty, gotta go. Catch you next week, I hope.
All right, and just to note, you are not using any external antenna tuners like I was, because that was another problem I was having.
No antenna tuners. No antenna tuna. And no antenna tuners. Okay, see you next week, hopefully.
All right, indeed. I hear Dwayne in there. He may be on. I probably don't have the video anymore, but I hear you on the audio, Dwayne. Over.
Yep, number 10 and 30 up here. Checking in number 10's T123B. It's a Robin night.
It is a Robin night. The T123 Bravo from Robin, all the way from beautiful Idaho, SWL 30 and 10. And yes, I did hear Chrissy. Radio 7 is sounding good. Over. Radio 7 from 10 and 30. All right, Chrissy and Dwayne on Radio 7, the T120. I can't read my own writing. The T123B from Robin, the green radio sounding good. And I don't know if you're listening, Larry, but I did hear you. I don't know, it sounded like you didn't have a receiver, but I will make it official. SWL 40 was checking in, not only on the crossband, but I think also on the regular radio. So 40 is checked in. Doing some counting and mounting, I'll be back. And I'm not going to try the link for Squamish Boys. I'm having some difficulties with connectivity tonight, so I'm just thinking that it might be a, what do they say, an episode in futility. Counting and mounting, back in a moment. Let's see if the jingle singers will be happy to help us out here.
You're tuned to OTR. Channel 11. Right here in Fresno, California. Stay with us. Old Tube Radio.
As modern as you can be. Let me take one last look, and that's not what I want to take, at the DX map tonight. Still, it's very short, Skip. Look at that. It's showing like Northern California and Nevada. So we might hear stations from the north part of the state. If you're on sideband later on, look for the guys and gals up north. All right. Can we have, as they say, the drum roll, please?
This is the Old Tube Radio Network. Ladies and gentlemen, stand by. It's time now for the current OTR totals.
All right, I'm very loud tonight. The current and final totals did pretty good tonight. On SWL, 16 on page 1, 19 on page 2, 16 on page 3, and, 26 on page 4 for a total of 77. And who did we add in? Jimmy, 777, 777. For SWL 93, thanks for joining us, Jimmy. And radios tonight, speaking of sevens, we had a total of 7 radios. Most heard manufacturer by a long shot, the Robins. We did start off with a Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB from Mr. Ed, and I thought for sure that the Browning would take it. When you start off with the Browning, it's always hard for the other radios to catch up, but catch up they did. The Cobra Cam 88 from Mr. Green Arrow, putting in that really good B&K Cobra audio, as it often does. Harvey testing out the Tram TR27E from Old Radio Night, and sounds good. I think he said he still had a few more things he wanted to do to it, but certainly what we were hearing puts it in the top shelf for sure. Thanks, Harvey, and that radio is coming along well. The Robin T123 Bravo from SWL 47. Mike on the early, I guess that's the middle. The 240D would be the later. So the middle 1972 to 1976 Robin, the Panasonic chassis. Also the T123 with the Magic Eye for radius 4 and 5. Browning Golden Eagle R68 T6G8, putting a tie between the Robins and the Brownings. Thanks, Harvey, for that. And I'll make a note that is the Browning Bagel, and hope you can find and do some touch-up and repairs on the Beagle. And then Radio 7, as you heard just moments ago, beaconing in from Dwayne and Chrissy, SWL 30 and 10, the T123B from Robin, putting the Robins in over the top tonight. So my apologies if the video is spotty or out. I'll see what I can do. Hopefully it's recording. Don't know if it is or not. I know we've got some reports that the audio is okay, and that, of course, the live stream, as always, is okay. That's the main thing. Got to hear those tube radios coming in on 27085. So good night, everybody. Thanks for joining us. It's good to have at least the transmitter side radio back where it should be, and good to hear you all on a very nice Saturday evening here in the Central Valley of California. 73 from your Old Tube Radio Network.
Thanks, Dennis, and thanks to Bozo Control.
Despite his best efforts, we managed to do it tonight. And the skip is open and going, so pick a frequency and say hello, radio.
Good night, Dennis.
All right, and I think the video is going. It's just on a super delay. Good night, everybody, from your old Tube Radio Network. Have a great rest of the weekend. I guess this is an extended weekend, too, so have at it. Good night, everybody. Catch you later. Old Tube Radio Network.
K6VLM.
And I did hear you both on this one and the other one, and I got you checked in 40, KB6GF2.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can hear you now. I guess you had your power level down the last thing.
Well, the power's up this week. I heard you on both check-ins tonight, but last week I did have a power issue, and now I'm a power thumper.
Oh, very good, very good. All right. I'll be most likely attending the picnic on the 9th there. QSL.
Okay, I think it's on the 15th or 16th.
FARC, I think it's on the 9th.
Oh, FARC, I'm sorry, yes, FARC is on the 9th. That's I thought you meant the SPE. I don't know. I don't know if I'll be attending or not, but I can try.
I'm going to attempt to make my delicious cookies once again.
All right, this is the delicious cookies frequency, so hopefully I'll be able to do that.
Hopefully. Okay, I'm just drawing